Hey, I'm Alex Radcliffe from Quack&Co, and this is Resident Evil and why it's different, why it's worth paying attention to. This is a regular series we do on the channel where everything is under 10 minutes all the time, every time, and Resident Evil is a game that I almost wrote off at first. You see, if you know some of my taste, then you know that I love Zombicide. I'm a huge fan of the series. I like a lot of other games too. Zombicide, Cthulhu Death May Die, not just Command games, Machina Arcana, Chronicles of Drunagar, any number of different dungeon crawlers, exploration games. I enjoy them a lot. But when you say, hey, we have a bunch of zombies in a room and a bunch of heroes and they're going to be tackling those zombies, the first thing I'm going to think of is Zombicide. And so when I first heard about Resident Evil, I thought it would be good, but wouldn't be something that I felt the need to add to my collection, especially when I'm already choosing between multiple levels of Zombicide, multiple tiers from Invader to Black Plague to whatever Western they have coming up, all those things. And so Resident Evil is a game that took me by surprise when I did enjoy it. You see, Resident Evil is going to be part Zombicide, it's going to be part Nemesis, and part Chronicles of Drunagar, amongst other games. What I mean by that is Resident Evil is a game where every single zombie is a threat. Every single zombie is something you have to pay attention. You see, the zombies, the easy ones, even the easy zombies, still are not that simple to roll, and what makes it more particular, more difficult, and more of a challenge is the fact that you're constantly giving up ammo every single time you roll. You see, you have weapons in this game, but your weapons, very much like the video game, are going to be limited to the ammo you have. Finding a clip of ammunition is just as exhilarating as finding a full new weapon. It's another way you can actually take out the threat in front of you. In that way, it's similar to Nemesis, where everything, no matter how small, still represents a threat to you. It's similar to Zombicide in the classical sense. You have scenarios, you have heroes, you have zombies attacking you, different tiers of zombies. You'll have zombies that move fast, you'll have zombies that are more threatening. Different tiers. The general overview of the game is very much going to be reminiscent of Zombicide. And then Resident Evil particularly, because this game is the third in a series. We have Resident Evil 2, then 3, then 1. Yes, the order is a little bit out of order, but that's the way Steamforged Games has done it. And Resident Evil, one of the things that does new to this series, to the genre, the trilogy, or whatever it is going to be the evolving map. The evolving map on the board, the fact that you'll start off with the scenario and then you'll start exploring, you'll open a door, and you'll draw a room card and start adding tiles to the board. You don't know what the scenario looks like when it starts, which has a few pluses. To begin with, it's going to make the game more accessible. It means setting up is simple. You set up 2 tiles and you're ready to go. You don't have to set up a full board, you don't have to worry about positioning enemies and doors and all that. You'll do that as the game comes at you. So it distributes that setup time across a longer experience, so to speak. And then secondly, it gives you that sense of exploration. It gives you that sense of the unknown, of not knowing what's approaching you. Those first few times you play a scenario are going to be more exhilarating than if you walked in knowing full well what happened. And in that sense, it's pulling from Chronicles of Drunagar or a dozen other games where you have a fixed map. Not something that evolves as you move out in a random sense, but a fixed map, but just a fixed map that you don't know what it looks like until you dive down into it. So it's combining those different aspects of those games, giving me an experience that is worth paying attention to. Resident Evil gives me the thrill. There's going to be a tension deck. A tension deck every single round. A tension deck that gives you, at the end of your turn, you'll draw a card and maybe nothing happens. Or maybe something bad happens. Maybe rooms open, a bunch of doors next to you open, maybe more zombies spawn, a corpse turns into a zombie. What you thought dead was not actually dead. And that tension deck is aptly named because this game delivers tension. That first time you face off against a zombie with a full clip of ammunition, you feel like you have the game, and you do. It's not a problem at all. Except the problem is the next time you face off against a zombie, you're down 5 bullets, and suddenly you're realizing that you weren't counting each shot the way you should have been. Maybe now it's time to use a knife when you would have otherwise shot a zombie. The next time you open a door, you wonder whether that's the right move or whether more zombies are going to be down your throat. The next time you walk into a room, maybe you don't fight the zombies, but you run past them, closing a door behind them. This game has a system in place where at the end of your turn, all zombies in your room or connected to your room through open doors activate. And that means you have a lot of decisions about how to split up your various heroes in the game, and how to open and close doors and wander around the mansion that you're exploring. Every single thing is a decision. Every single thing is tension. When you draw one of the deadlier zombies, and like I said already, every zombie starts off as deadly, there's more of a threat to face. Resident Evil took me by surprise. I haven't played 2, I haven't played 3. This is my first game, my first experience in Steamforged Games, and Steamforged Games' line of the Resident Evil series. And it was a game that I was prepared to play, say it was pretty good, and move on from it, going back to my familiar Zombicide. but it took me by surprise. And it's a game I'm really enjoying. That tension, that combination of managing your ammo, managing your resources, dealing with every single zombie, puzzling out the door system, puzzling out how and where to navigate, when to burn the corpse behind you versus when to conserve your fuel because you're walking into the next room and there's corpses there too. There are a lot of decisions to be made as you play this game. And for me, that's what makes Resident Evil a little bit different. Until next time, I'm Alex Radcliffe from Quack&Co. This is a Kickstarter. A link down below in the description if you want to check that out. This is also a prototype, worth mentioning that too. But until next time, I am Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co. and I hope you have a good one.